Okay, it's Scott and Rita. We're gonna do a cosmic dialogue. So I'm just introducing it just for purposes for us and for
Mhm.
this video. Um, we'll do a cosmic dialogue. I'll start about animal kingdom and nature in relation to a vision I had, and also in relation to fires in Australia. Not because it's popular and it's on everybody's mind, but because it just kind of has hit me in a strange, different way. So, um, so I want to go into a different alternate timeline or dimension, or just to get into that energetic dimension, perhaps. And I don't know if it's future or past, or what are you feeling? Is it future, Rita?
Hmm. Yeah, it feels like it's neither.
Okay.
If you want to figure out what that means.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just gonna start. We'll just say, I'll just say, well, I remember when. So, and then it can be whenever. Just play.
Yeah, it feels. Uh, what I'm hearing is it's neither because it's in an existence that we aren't yet in. So it's not the future of this place.
Oh, so it's something beside this.
Yeah, something like we're moving into it, so it won't necessarily feel like future.
Okay. So, all right. So I'm just gonna start, and we can supercharge however whatever comes up. As the fires here in this dimension happening, and on my vision, I had a vision of trees when I was out walking. I had a vision of the trees in my neighborhood. Pretty profound. The trees in my vision started to unhook their um, roots from the ground. They were like sort of moving and unraveling and unhooking from the ground and from the earth. And then I was able to see their auras, and I got some awesome. It was an awesome feeling, but it was also a troubling feeling of seeing energetically how all the trees, their white auras just came out of the ground and shot up into the sky as if they were releasing themselves and preparing or going somewhere, going to an alternate place or going somewhere, leaving this space behind. So, and I kind of want to get into where they're going into the thoughts, and also just animals and how I'm seeing this connection that has always been there, but the we're finally having pictures and visuals of koalas and docile animals reaching out with compassion even to us. And although we are starting to feel like we're being compassionate to animals, what I'm really feeling and what they're telling me is that they're compassionate to us in this time period. Maybe this is what is really happening. What's really happening is I think I need to channel the thoughts and feelings and the dimensions that the trees and animals are going to. So I think that's really, they're the key instead of like me. So let me get out of the way a little bit.
Well, it
And
just really struck me how, wow, they're compassionate to us. That's an immense amount of love to be able to do that.
yes, yes. Like kind of one of the things I'm feeling with like koalas, kangaroos, marsupials, and the animal kingdom on the continent of Australia through these fires is that they felt this long before it even happened. They have felt this coming. They have felt this
So it's almost like a relief.
almost like a relief, but they've also like felt that there was something off, and that they've known for a time through, like, I mean, Australia and New Zealand are for a time, people have had to wear sunscreen. There's been massive changes. Climate disruptions have happened there, and I do believe the animal kingdom there has felt these changes subtly for decades. They have really felt these changes. They've felt this coming of a wave of there's going to have to be a new existence. And I do believe that collectively many of them have prepared themselves. And that may be hard for us humans to feel and to believe, but I'm getting this sadness yet happy yet collective sigh that, oh, this is the event that needed to happen to transport us, and that we know that there's a circle at play. So it's and the compassion is for us. The compassion is they're reaching out to us because we are survivors and yet we are fighters. And that fighting, they have learned to release the fight. And they see in us our fear. They see our anger. They see our loss. And they come to us through seeing that. And yes, many of them do feel the effects, the ones that we saved their lives, and they're so grateful, and they come and they hold those that saved their lives, but they're able to feel because they've been able to be in this animal kingdom where they can actually sense and feel and notice the waves that nature puts about, and notice the oncoming changes. They spot behavior with bees and deer, and the way the trees move, the way water tastes, the way the leaves taste, the way all of the natural items in their environment have changed subtly over the last decades. They have seen that, and they have actually energetically known something would happen. And now it has happened. And this is part of that sadness that I felt a while back, of how this connection between animals and humans starts to intensify. And yet it is us, the humans, who feel more sadness than they feel. So the animals that are surviving are letting it go. They're releasing. They're letting go of where their next meal comes from. They're allowing themselves to be cared for, but yet they feel that they are somehow caretaking us, the ones that come in contact with humans, because they can sense our emotion. You don't want to kill us, but you want to care for us. But we see your sadness. We see your remorse. We see how frozen you are. Frozen, that frozen feeling is a big thing that they pick up on. And so the animals have started coming. And there have been also white animals that have been born, white giraffes, white bears, and so they've felt a shift and a change. And it's all perhaps part of a cycle that even through their very cells they knew would happen. So it's hard for me as a human to wrap my mind around, but I feel that these animal beings are, they don't hold on to this grudge or disgust um, or immense fear for very long. Some of those that um, did not survive, I do think they did release themselves and they actually understood through this balance. I don't want to, it's a different word and it's not translating for me, but it's not about sacrifice for others. Letting go, release, um, but energetically surviving. It's something I can't even profoundly understand, but I sense this deep cosmic spirit that has always been there, that allowed them to feel that these things would happen. And it's us that are the ones that are really grieving. We're the ones grieving um, as the planet and the animal kingdom comes forward to hold us in a little more compassion. I think it's a huge lesson for humans to feel like this is going to be a graceful experience. It's a huge lesson. I don't think that we will even understand this or even treat it as grace, even if ever. And trees, I think it's really hard for me to get into the space because it's very sad for me because there's so much part of my living connection to this life and dimension. But if I were a tree and it's just what they do. It's just what they would sense that they go. We know what's happening. We know it's our time. We know it's time to begin that process. Life will go on. We will leave, but this is what happens. It's like a totally accepted thing. What do you think about any of this stuff that I'm saying, Rita?
What I'm getting is that the animals are well, I'll say here. They're here for the purpose of helping us feel. And yeah, they've sensed it coming for a long time, and it's that feeling of, oh, thank God we don't have to anticipate this. Now we're in it, so we can actually do what it is we need to do. And for some of them, that is leaving. And when an animal leaves, then it triggers our sadness because we don't want to feel our sadness as a collective population. We suppress our sadness, but the burnt animals are putting it right in our face. We can't deny it. And then a lot of other things are happening for people individually to bring up sadness. And yeah, animals aren't going to hold a grudge. They know that, like you said, life goes on, and that's their whole purpose. Life goes on. So we just do what we do and see what happens next. Whereas humans hang on to every little thing and fear change and try to avoid it most of the time. Or only change what they feel they're in control of. So yeah, I do feel that the animals, some of them already know where we're going. They're already there. And the trees, the trees are that way too. We'll drop a seed and will burn up, or will be used to build something, or we'll fall over and a new shoot will come up, or we'll lift off and move to where we need to go, at least in spirit. And you all can experience the remnants of us. And maybe that will trigger more feelings.
It almost feels like too that it's a preparation for us, and I really do think that here's a dreadful premonition, but I think that it might be necessary for us. But I think that some animals, since there are trees in our plant communities, and they are leaving energetically, and we will start to recognize it, and that's going to cause us more grief, even when animals stay. I believe that they're leaving energetically, and so I touch trees a lot. I touch trees. I greet them. I talk to them. And I put my hand on them, and sometimes I feel like a life force, and I feel a connection. And we aren't going to. There may. I'm seeing another time where throughout the Earth cycle changes, and through whether it's our fault or their fault or whoever fault it is, we're going to have to learn to grieve and not use them as comfort for our grief. They'll already have been spiritually taken off somewhere else. And we're going to start feeling that I no longer feel this connection, but I want to, with this tree, with this animal, with this bear, with this wildlife, with a whale or a dolphin. Energetically, we want so badly to have a connection in the future, but yet they have graciously, just because they do this themselves, they do it, they've energetically left. And we're going to start feeling that subconsciously. We will feel that this is probably a compassionate time for us, where the animals are coming forward with compassion to hold us, to let us hold them, to let us take care of them, to be docile and help us feel our feelings. But in the future, there will probably come a time where collectively they have to energetically leave us. And maybe that's something too we have to do as humans, is we have to energetically leave behind this paradigm and step into a new universe, dimension, arena. It's probably the same kind of grief that other people feel when someone has left a relationship, or who they know is dying, who's checked out, who has, blissfully decided they are, they're 99 years old, and they've blissfully decided they have checked out, and they are waiting. And it's harder for other people, harder for someone who's witnessing dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever, than it is for the person who is blissfully somewhere else. But I do feel, through my interactions and through my dreams and through what I'm seeing, is that over a time lapse, we're going to see more of a checking out of these animal kingdom, natural species. And we won't be able to feel that connection And that's going to be tough for us. Not for them, but it's going to be very, very sad for humans. It makes me sad right now.
I'm feeling that they're primarily here to witness, and for us to feel them seeing us.
Mm.
And for that to be like, oh, somebody sees all of this that we're doing and projecting and creating and causing, and it will be more impossible to deny that we're causing it when we see it through their eyes, because they're just witnessing all of it and experiencing the results of our nasty everything, all the stuff that we don't claim as our own but put it out into the world. And maybe that's what you're calling a disconnection. Like, we're not getting that warm fuzzy feeling from them anymore. We're getting truth.
Yeah.
And what a gift for us, for them to be able to do that. And I feel like maybe it's already having an effect on humans on a global scale in that way of going, oh, we better knock this off a little bit. We better take it down a notch, because look at what's happened to these animals. That could be us. We might not be able to run away from the what we're burning down.
It's very clear. I mean, there are all sorts of other things that we've done that are hidden. Now things are becoming more overt. I mean, we have like oil spills and Fukushima and um, all sorts of other man-made disasters have like wreaked havoc
Mm-hmm.
for decades and decades, and probably ever since like the whole industrial revolution, just this whole pattern. Yet we have buried that in our subconscious or into our subconscious mind somewhere back behind. And
Well, we feel entitled to do it.
yeah, we do. We feel entitled. Um, this is different. This time period of like the continent of Australia burning, and we see these images. It's. Will we feel like we're entitled to file this away? I don't believe so. I don't think so at all. And if we do, um, that's a greater sadness that might require some interesting divine divinity from the animal kingdom for forgiveness of us. What do you do when you come face to face with like someone you've like a being, a creature that you've like their whole habitat has been burned to the ground through your negligence, and the creature just reaches out to you and hugs you and holds you? That's something new for the human race to really feel into.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do with that? And then what do we do when we realize that, oh, they knew this all along. This is what happened, and they're willing to let go and release because they understand.
They didn't come and attack us to try to prevent it.
No. and generationally they propagate faster than we do, and so all of these like generations of in the animal kingdom come through quite quickly, I think. You know, yeah, there's something about like I think that like creatures that live closer to the earth and more in harmony with the earth and what's going on in their environment, that they have a greater sense of the whole.
Yeah. Of the abundance of God's universe and God's laws, and they know that they're taken care of one way or another, as well as being completely self-responsible.
Yeah, I feel like they do know the love of the earth a lot faster than we do, much faster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in their cells, it's in their DNA, it's in their very energetic bodies. And so when they see some folks like us who grieve and are angry and are numb and feel isolated through this tragedy, that they recognize it with compassion. I don't know. It's kind of interesting how, like, you see these stories of pregnant dogs adopting cats, and there's interesting things in the animal community where they become more compassionate. And maybe we've just started seeing these stories in our consciousness in the human mind, but there is an interesting joy and sadness in seeing that animals have to come and rescue us emotionally now.
But they're not really rescuing.
That's true. They're just holding us.
Mm-hmm. They're giving us an opportunity.
Yeah.
To also be compassionate.
So
they're not coming forward to make us feel better.
No.
Which I feel like would be the rescue.
Okay. But it is a message, it's I don't know if it's the message we want to hear. Some people like take this message as like, now I'm going to go out and be an activist and do things and donate money for a cause and hold signs and
so that I don't have to feel anything.
Right. So that I feel like this is work, so that I can channel my anger somewhere else, so I don't have to feel it, and I can feel like I'm making a difference. So that way, other people will love me and say, "Oh, you're transforming it, and doing this wonderful thing."
I can feel self-righteous about the people who are not doing anything.
Yeah. And so through my efforts, I can like delay my grief, delay my own feeling of empathy and shared suffering that is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is kind of a gift, like, to feel that for me, this vision of trees that I really value just shooting up and just saying, I'm done. We're done. We're not here. There's just a solid skeleton of us right there. Now what?
That just feels like that. Yeah, that would be incredible if nature just said, "Screw it, you guys are on your own. We've done enough. See ya."
At the same time, I really hope that, like, if there is an imminent thing that happens to our planet, to our whole entire ecosphere on a global scale, I really hope that all of these beings and consciousness that's connected to the earth detach and allow themselves to go. There's an interesting feeling I have about that like, if worse comes to worse, if something is horribly catastrophic that will threaten to decimate life as we know it in all forms, what a beautiful thing. We're all releasing ourselves into the cosmos to be this cosmic energy of love no matter what. So
Mm-hmm.
before this trauma on the earth happens. We've gone to the other place. We've gone and leaped to the other dimensional space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the earth isn't, it's only one place. It's not
Yeah.
all there is.
Yeah. And like they say, some humans who like jump off buildings, they die before they hit the ground.
Hmm.
How they release themselves from their body before they hit the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So that's,
Well, they made the decision when they jumped.
they made the decision, and so they never feel the impact. So it's, there's a decision being made collectively, perhaps, or maybe I saw this slowness of this decision in a rapid pace. Yeah, I hope that when, if those things happen, come to pass, that enough beings on this earth just decide, well, there it is, and we release.
Well, what if we decided right now?
Ooh, all right.
What does that look like?
Oh, it's just unfortunate that we have to, like, in these bodies, that we still have to eat food and breathe oxygen, and yeah, that's the thing. We have to eat, we have to breathe, we need water. So it would look very different. We would have to be in different bodies. We would have to have a dramatic, or
But do we?
do we?
Do we know that? A whole new level of love is a different dimension.
That's true.
And we can do that in these physical bodies.
There was something that I read too about the burning away of fires preparing the way for new crystalline beings to come through, like the new crystallized cells, non-reliant on these other carbon-based things that keep us alive.
Maybe it's just a matter of experimenting.
I think as humans, we're so attached to our breathing and our existence and our food and our, yeah, I mean, think of not eating and not drinking water and not having a body. We're so attached. A tree, an animal,
Or
maybe
having a body but not needing those things.
not needing those things.
Who knows?
Who knows? But yeah, a tree is still a tree. I'm unhinged, I'm unhooked, I'm going. I'm shooting into outer space. It's just a skeleton there now.
It's kind of inviting, really.
It is kind of. So it's interesting how I went from like grief to like, wow, how much soul release is now happening. Conscious soul releasing from the earth. Or at least the start of it.
Yeah, or not.
Or not. Who knows?
In some, I mean, for some,
For some.
perhaps not.
But at least a message saying, you know, some of us are preparing and starting to release.
Yeah, that's almost what I see. The animals reaching out. It's more like, come on, come with me.
Oh. Come with me. Yeah, what if we joined the functionally extinct? It feels interestingly weird and odd to say it that way. Very odd. I'm joining the functionally extinct.
I would love to be extinct.
But at the same time, you never will be.
Right.
So
but extinct as this particular way of knowing and being, because I've progressed more towards love and truth and humility.
Right.
That Rita's extinct.
Yeah. That older construction.
Think of that, humanity becoming extinct in that way. The wars and the hatred and the fear and the anxiety and greed and control, and entitlement, extinct.
Narcissism.
Yeah.
Power struggles. Scarcity. Planned scarcity of, controlled scarcity of resources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That being extinct sounds incredible.
Isn't that a different way of looking at potential, what we see now as catastrophe?
Yeah. Oh, and this is a total premonition reflection of the whole human race, I believe. This is what's happening in Australia and how the animals are coming forward. This is complete. I mean, to them, this is like their nuclear annihilation.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I mean, really,
Yeah.
fires in the sky and their whole environment decimated and burning and many of them may have probably just accepted that fate, and now they're reaching out to like angels that are helping them. I mean, maybe they have even consciously like stepped over
Mm-hmm.
the ones who quote have survived.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would feel that way if like these other, like, oh, I've run out of the fires and I've lost all hope, and now I've seen like these other beings that have taken me somewhere else. It's just like death. It's just because really functionally
Mm-hmm.
everything they've known is gone, and now what's left is compassion, love. That's all they have to go on. That's the only fuel they have,
Right.
really. And we may need to like go through that too. Our planet goes, yeah, any sort of annihilation, disaster, destruction that's impending or may happen, or yeah, those of us who quote survive will have to go through our own death of an extinction of our old self to move forward, no matter whether or not we're physically alive in our bodies or not on this
Mm-hmm.
planet.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And even whether or not we're directly affected, it'll be almost required, I think, to make that change, make that choice to move to a new way.
I also got this message right now. It's just like the animal kingdom is being compassionate to us because we also live on the earth, and they recognize that. It's not just my environment that's like burned away. It's all of ours.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel your grief. Interesting. I feel your loneliness. I feel your loss. I feel your sadness, your fear. It's okay.
Or yeah.
Yeah, in the midst of their own physical pain. I think that they've released their own physical pain from the burning, even the ones that have quote survived. It's stripped away. Yeah, it's stripped away a lot of their other existence, but then they feel our fear and grief.
Or at least witness it.
Witness. Anything else you want to add? I'm so like tempted because it's an earthly thing to like wrap it up to think like there's something like that we all as humans need to take away from it, but I don't know if that's even right or even is necessary, or that's an old thing too. you know,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we've got to learn from this disaster. What do we take away from it? And that, to me, that just seems old and trite and overused. And
Because is it actually learned from?
right,
Mm-hmm. Or is it just the thing to say so you can move on and forget it?
yeah, it sets up an expectation that somehow you'll go beyond that and you'll improve without really taking it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just feel it would be nice to see people move out of the outrage and the sadness about this particular incident to move into their own selves and their own feelings and stop, really almost in a way, stop talking about it. Just go feel it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The whole idea of like many will say, "How dare you? Like, just say that this is a natural thing. How dare you?" Um, but I don't care. This is something I feel. This is a huge message of. Yeah, we knew this was going to happen. We knew something like this would happen. We were prepared. We were ready. Many of us released ourselves, and we felt it before. Now it's time for the whole world to just feel. You know.
Yeah, we've been feeling it for decades. And thank goodness now more beings are feeling it so we don't have to carry it all ourselves.
Yeah. What if the human race just has to wake up and decide we
You could say every minute of every day.
every day?
What
Um,
if?
I know.
I don't know. Is that, you think so?
We're not above nature. We're not above it. We play with it way too much. We are not above the comings and goings of our own being and our energetic life, the comings and goings of our own body. It is just our own sickness to believe that we somehow, because of our thoughts and our intellect, can escape death. We can escape the paradigm of death and decay and age and fault and whatever. And
We
so
can
we,
escape the results of our actions and feelings and choices and projections.
right. Or we can just kick it down the can with some sort of gambling thing that we'll just keep delaying it and delay it and delay it. What if the human race just woke up and said, hey, there's no escaping this. We are going to crumble into dust just like these animals, just like the animal kingdom. Things have like set in motion. We will someday not exist here. We will someday be extinct.
Thank
Just,
God.
you know, and realize that there's nothing else to do about it. So, and we just have choices just to make of like loving, compassionate. We can only delay things, I think. And really, is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. We have an attachment, and it's somehow too toxic of an attachment to this life, to this physical reality life.
Yeah,
And
just what if this one switch of being afraid of being extinct, just that one shift, that would change a lot.
wow, yeah, afraid of being wiped out, extinct, not existing, which which is that wild paradigm of like you can be extinct, but really you never are.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of like a whole cosmic life creating universe that has created us and recycles us, and we are part of this consciousness of a universe that is continually changing and evolving and moving. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did that for a while. Then we were moons. Then we were stars. And then we were cosmic dust again. And became waves of unimaginable things.
And created unimaginable things.
Right.
We think in such tiny, tiny visions.
Mm.
And cling to them.
Yeah, like money. You know, what is money to God? What
Right.
is money to the galactic universe of beings that are part of like the soul body of God? What is that really? What is oil? Um, it's too late for grief. In a way, I mean, it's good to feel it, but I think it is too late for our grief.
It's too late for self-indulgent grief.
Self-indulgent grief. And yeah, that's another question eventually, I think. What does grief look like that's not self-indulgent?
Mm.
That's another question for humanity.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a beautiful gift to be given, like to like see and experience um our own compassion, our own grief, our own reaching out with love, as long as we hold on to it and own it through these disasters. And also to witness how other parts of nature and life on this earth just are not attached to this egoic way of feeling it. They'll reach back in compassion until it's time for them not to. And then, like, let me go. I'm going on my own. Yeah, the way of the cycle of life, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I do think it would be fun to be more like koalas. Sleeping in trees, eating, dreaming, staying a bit quiet,
Mm-hmm.
not really worrying. Yeah, I mean, we've had such practice worrying and grieving and whatever. What do animals do when they haven't practiced grieving? They can't, they're not going to just pour out their guts the same way we do, because we have these weird emotional attachments to our own grief and our own feelings and our own addictive behaviors. An animal will not wail for, well, I won't say that. But it's different. It's not self-indulgent. It's not about, um, come look at me and heal me in my grief. It is just they'll feel their feelings, but they're not going to want you to fix them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just see the picture of a kangaroo just reaching out to a human, saying, "Oh, you poor human. I feel you. I feel your hurt.
Hmm.
Welcome to nature. Welcome to the planet."
Right.
You know. I'm sorry it took this for you to see it,
Mm. Right.
but now welcome.
Look what we've been experiencing on smaller scale every day.
Yeah. Yeah. We felt it. We've known it.
It just had to be big enough for you to take notice.
Yeah. And we're witnessing. Here's our moment where we're going to reach out. So pretty soon we're going to leave.
Mm. Yeah. Opportunity.
Yeah. Cool. That was fun.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I think that's good for the recording.
I think so.
Right. We're going to end that. Thanks, Rita.
Thank you.